are you doing? I'm Martin from Gardens for Life, and we're here today at the Bullaun Ark with Charles.
How you doing, Martin? Welcome back to the farm.
Yeah, we haven't done a tour for quite a number of years now, I believe 2 or 3 years now.
That's right.
And we are here to take a look at your market garden.
Yeah, welcome back to the farm. Have you noticed the tomatoes growing well? Summertime.
Yeah. And look, you're on stilts at the moment.
Well, it makes it a bit easier. Work hard, smarter, not harder, you know?
Yeah. It's awesome, so you don't need a ladder to get at your
No, and I can grow them higher
plants.
so they get a bit more sunlight and a bit more heat this time of year, so that's really good.
We'll take a look at your garden out here. So it's
Let me hop down off these.
That's handy actually. That way you don't need to bring your step ladder to pick your tomatoes.
And you don't
Awesome.
fall over.
That's cool.
Back up is a bit harder though.
All right. Just gotta, I guess you're gonna need a pretty good balance to walk on those. So what has changed in the last 2 or 3 years now?
I suppose we've seen the garden really mature nicely thanks to the no dig, and one of the things we started doing, I suppose largely down to Charles Dowding's influence, is biodynamics. So now we plant everything according to the biodynamic calendar and harvest and so forth.
Yeah. So what do you grow now? You grow a lot of vegetables,
Yeah, we still grow a lot of vegetables.
staples, and some more decorative items and more rare.
Yeah, and we try to do like unusual varieties. For example, we have the Nepalese cucumber back here rather than a normal cucumber. Anything that tastes better and is more unusual, we try and grow rather than just the standard version, you know. For example, our beans, I've got purple and gold rather than green, you know.
Yeah.
Tomatoes, we're doing in 3 colors of cherries, although you won't see the ripe ones today because we already harvested. So, yeah, it's coming along really nice. We've got cucamelons over here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Take a look at this. This
Next
is
to our
amazing.
avocado tree that's really coming along.
Oh, yes.
This is 3 years old.
You'll
a couple
find-
years ago, it got really cold and it died back, and you can see down here the original stalk, and it regrew then from the roots.
Yeah.
So-
Wow, a real avocado tree.
Yeah.
You've got all these unusual plants. So do you want to walk down this way and we'll just walk through the greenhouse real quick?
Yeah.
Because we could be here for hours, folks.
We could.
We could, but we don't have the time.
Here's a beautiful Nepalese cucumber for you, Martin. Take this home for your dinner.
Oh, nice. Thank you. You let these ripen,
Yeah, you
not
let them
like
ripen
other
fully,
cucumbers.
and they store. And what's really nice, unlike other cucumbers, you eat the seeds of these because they're quite nutty and delicious, almost like a pistachio. And there's a really nice jelly that forms around the seeds too, which is all part of it as well. And then the plants as well, you kind of let them go a bit wild. They have a tendency to break themselves because they get so heavily fruited, and then you just take it to the side shoot and let them go off.
Lovely. And what is this plant?
This is Japanese perennial, also known as shisho. This is the really, really tasty one. So this is kind of like a combination of smoked meat with a fennel finish, is the best way to describe. Really strong too.
It's actually a really nice smell as well. Oh, it's. Can I eat it? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, that's really nice. Kind of like a very different flavor, like the oyster leaf.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I love these kind of herbs that are
I've
really
never
strong
eaten anything like
flavors and quite unique to the palate. You know, like just something you won't get, typical, in your typical daily diet. Like, I suppose.
Yeah.
A bit of bronze fennel. You can see all the beans growing in.
Yeah, I've been growing bronze fennel for the first
Here's
time
another one I
last
want
year.
to try, Martin. This is a really special. This is the Nepalese giant basil. So this is just, we do this like succession plantings. So this is one of the next succession. So the plants are still small. You'll see the other plants are quite big, but we've been
Oh, it
harvesting.
smells really good.
Isn't it really amazing? I recently
should
found
I
this
eat
in
it?
purple. Yeah, of course. You're here for your lunch too, Martin.
It's good.
You can really see the scale of the tomato plants now.
I
But
think by the end of this tour, I'm going to have a full stomach.
that's the idea. What's hard to tell is how diagonal they are. So we're probably around 5 meters at this stage. So
Oh, yeah.
Can you see?
I see that, yeah.
Yeah. So for example,
look
if I
at this.
track this one here.
Sorry, one sec. I'm just going to show this side here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are vertical, yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is
That
that
way
we
you
can
don't have
keep
to
the
grow
fruit.
as tall.
Yeah, and we can grow them really tall, but without having to have the fruit touch the ground. And at the same time, we can just keep fruiting until we decide. So for example, if we have a nice Indian summer, we can say, okay, we'll keep 2 more weeks on the tomatoes because we have enough sun. So it gives us capacity,
Yeah.
And this is where the stilts are so good because we have
it's
to lower
amazing.
all the strings about once a week, and it's a lot of work.
It
It's
looks so
200 plants.
symmetrical.
Yeah.
I think we should do a video just on tomatoes next time.
Yeah. Oh, here's something cool. I didn't even show you these yet. So these are a type of aubergine I'm trying. And these get really big. I put on some cool Facebook photos the other day. And they're more cold tolerant and much more productive than other aubergines. Because obviously aubergines are a struggle in the Irish climate. There's some nice lemon basil beside you there. We have all different kinds of peppers and chilies, like about 8, 9 different varieties. I have a beautiful purple Ruffles basil, you know.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's a lovely greenhouse. It's the double-skinned greenhouse too.
Yeah, makes a
So
big difference.
It does, yeah.
We had our first tomatoes by June 1st this year again, so I'm really happy. I haven't beaten June 1st by much yet. I'm dying to, but it all depends on the spring weather. So
Yeah.
we were in full sales by the second week of June, which is quite good. So I have to thank the Double Skin Tunnel for that. Also, we've really
And you were
focused-
growing greens in here in the winter.
Yeah, so winter time this year we had mostly chard. We had a few edible flowers like those violas behind you. We just keep them going all season. They just self-seed. We had some of the herbs in here like parsley. We had one bed of lettuce as well. So I mean, for me, winter time is really the best time to grow salads. You know, you can see the beans sticking out over here. Look at the size of this guy. So it's all about varieties. So certain varieties of vegetables are just so much better than other varieties. So it's really worth putting the time in to try different things and all that, you know.
And that's what market gardeners do, though. They become
Yeah.
basically professional vegetable growers and get really good at it, and then pick
Exactly.
the right varieties to make it easier to harvest, and maybe
Yeah.
certain
Do what we can, you know. I got some
certain,
nice stuff down the back
like
too.
varieties with certain characteristics.
Yeah, you know, for example, if you take the cucumber, it's the crunchiest cucumber you'll ever eat, but it also doesn't get that bitter toxin that cucumbers can get sometimes. So you basically every one is sweet and lovely, and it's you never have those bitter overtones, you know.
So, folks, this time we started off with the greenhouse, but we'll take a look outside now too.
Yeah.
And if you are interested in seeing how this garden was actually started, and you'll get a year 1 and a year 2 tour, I'll link those videos at the end here, or in the description below.
So which way you want to go, Martin? North or south? Let's go north first, and then we'll save the south, okay? So we've got kalettes over here.
It is an ocean of kale. Now that's true canopy gardening right there. This is what I've always been telling you about. If you don't leave space for the weeds, they don't germinate. There is a few of them down below, I see, but not much, not much.
Yeah.
Barely any of it. So what's so special about this particular vegetable?
So this is a kalette. It's a cross between a Brussels sprout and a kale. It's a new vegetable. It was developed in England, like I say, about 10 years ago. And at this time of the year, it's very early. But basically, just like a Brussels sprout will, at each node here, you'll get this little, like an open Brussels sprout crown. It kind of looks like a king's crown.
Well, kind of like the
as
head
well.
here, like kind of like
Exactly.
that, but lots of little ones.
Yeah, and it's a much better tasting vegetable than Brussels sprouts. So it has all the good qualities, but then like a really nice nutty kale taste. And what's great about it too is that you can eat the leaf this time of year. So
Yeah.
we'll
Oh,
start
it's
selling
delicious.
leaf
I
in a
just
couple
had
weeks
some
now.
earlier.
Yeah, I really love this vegetable, and as you can see, it's
So you're growing this mainly for kale now, or
for kalettes.
yeah?
So the beauty of
But
it.
what kale do you grow mainly for leaf at the moment?
De Niro, so the Cavallo De Niro, dinosaur kale, black magic, comes under many names, and purple curly kale.
Yeah.
It gets really intensely purple in the wintertime. In fact, there's a few plants made in here.
And
by
which
mistake.
one do you find actually does the best for storing well a good quality leaf, like in the winter,
Oh,
outdoors?
De Niro.
Niro,
and
yeah.
some of the curly kales.
Yeah.
Within the curly kales, there's a huge different like variations of varieties and lineages.
Yeah.
So you just got to trial them for your area too, because each area has its own kind of microbiome that'll attack your kales in winter and give you rust problems, you know.
Yeah.
One of the things we changed in the farm this year is I started to discover how deficient magnesium is in soils worldwide. So I made a real effort to put magnesium into the soil, just basically in like a rock dust, you know. And this has really benefited the brassicas. As you can see, they've just taken off, and we have absolutely no rust here whatsoever. So
Yeah, no, they're very healthy looking.
yeah, and you'll really see it. I'll show you the other kale, the
Of
squeak.
course, that's also part of the reason that is because you're using biodynamics now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you have been you've been learning more about tapping into the other cycles, the shorter cycles of nature. And so it's not just seasonal cycles, and not just the daily cycles, but there's monthly cycles also, and weekly cycles.
And
So
cycles
we'll
with the
talk
moon and
about that.
stuff. Yeah, like one of the
Little
basics
bit.
is when the best time to do your seedlings is with the rising moon.
Yeah.
And this is all to do, we all know about how the moon affects tides, right? And how much it moves water on the planet that way. But water is inside all of our vegetables. So this has an effect of the water inside our vegetables. And this is why the biodynamics become very important, you know?
Yeah. We'll do a little separate video explaining biodynamics, and we'll link it below.
Yeah, we'll avoid
We'll do
this
a little
tunnel
tour.
to the end, because this is the cool
Sure,
one. So,
that'll be the highlight of the tour.
yeah, you can see
Look
our
at
apples.
this. And remember, in the other tour, for those of you who have seen it maybe 3 or 4 years ago, you were saying that these apple trees have been planted very densely, very close to each other, just to encourage them to fruit, because the competition, just for them to have a little bit of competition helps them fruit. Same as the figs, actually, for that matter.
If you stress your fruit trees, basically, if you stress things you want to fruit, they will fruit better.
Yeah.
Because it's a survival mode.
Yeah.
Now these
same
trees are
as even
here,
other trees like pine trees, when it's stressed, it actually goes to seed. But the same way as fig trees, people often ask me, how do you actually get your figs to fruit so much? Well, that's easy. I just don't water it in the polytunnel.
Yeah. Now
I don't bother restricting the roots.
A really pretty structure here to put these on, like a trellis, and we're going to put them all and start training them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got 80 kilos of apples off these trees last year.
80 kilos, wow.
Yeah.
And that's how many trees, like 5 or 6?
There's 9 trees here.
Oh, 9 trees, wow.
Yeah.
All right, little weedy now, but probably
and then for contrast, the same trees are up on this hill. So these two have been planted separately, as you would plant standard apple trees. Now they still fruit very well, especially this first one. But I think this is getting stressed by the big one behind it. Now these are typical, like your normal, like you go to a garden center and you buy some bare root apples. And to be honest, they're here 7 years and they still don't fruit well. You can see we have some diseased apples, some very unhealthy and very low density. They're just not happy. So really seek out the right varieties. Like here's one from Seed Savers. I can't remember which one it is now, but you can see it's just dense with apples, and it's all a small tree yet, you know?
Yeah.
In fact, I probably should take some off, but anyway.
All right.
It's some marshmallow I got for you guys.
You want to go up this way, or
yeah,
you want
let's
to
go
show
down.
the dahlias or the beads?
Yeah, we'll go to the dailies at the end. Sure, we'll go around the other way.
It's starting to drizzle a little.
Yeah, there's your marshmallow. Well, every year you
Yeah, marshmallow is always a great plant because it's super reliable. It's a perennial.
Yeah. Now this is an interesting area that we kind of, even though it's on the edge of the kalettes, it doesn't get the same canopy, but the plants we plant here are very dominant. And plus there's, this is dead nettle, which in itself is a very, very useful plant, both medicinally and as a food source. It's very good in soups and stuff. And of course you recognize the yacon.
Yacon, yeah.
Yeah, and then we got some different dills. There's a few things, I'm not even sure what's planted in here because we got a few of us working here now. This is a very nice giant dill variety.
It definitely attracts the insects. It's a lot of insectary plants here at the edge of the garden, and they protect your crops too a little bit.
Yeah, I mean this is an example of a weed that really is vigorous here because it's wind-blown seeds. But it's not a competitive weed other than like when it tries to canopy out stuff. So bigger plants like this, it's not really a problem. In fact, we can turn this to a mulch and basically throw it back down if it's not late in the seed stage,
Yeah.
I love this red auroch. This is really, really nice. And this is actually more of a winter crop, so the plants you plant now will last much longer. But we've done, again, biodynamics. It's really performed well. We planted this on leaf day, and it's been all through the summer. It still hasn't gone to seed, so
yeah.
Bit of a surprise.
Awesome.
Okay, let's go see the main garden, Martin.
The garden's edge. Usually you like to use flowering plants instead of using some kind of a mulch on the ground. But it's a great way to, whoa, look at all the pumpkins here.
Yeah. We call this the pumpkin slice because if you look at it from the aerial, it looks like a pizza slice. But
yeah.
And in here, underneath all this, there's 4 normal non-dig beds. So you just can't see them. So the first one I can poke. I don't want to step on any pumpkins here because there's actually loads. So you can see the plastic there. And yeah, we have pumpkins everywhere, all through this. So there's some already basketball sized. So the plastic helps with soil temperatures and moisture. So in this bed we did some with plastic and some without, just because of the odd size, and you can see the ones in plastic were double sized before the ones that weren't in plastic. So I don't really like plastic in the garden. It does have very, very useful points at times, especially crops that we're kind of trying to put to the edge of what they can take in the environment here.
And would you be able to use that again?
Oh, many years. So I recommend if you're getting my
even after burning the holes in it, you can still use it again.
Yeah, well, burn the holes and burn the edges when you're cutting it, and buy the better one. So the better one's a little bit more money. But
always get the best tarps.
Yeah, and I have some here that are 5 or 6 years old and are still perfect and
I'm
keep them clean.
I'm looking for something more that's something more long lasting than 1200 gauge builder's plastic. It's not UV proof probably.
Here's a good example of something we're working on. So this is the edge of the garden, right? So at the moment this creates a lot of weed seed. It's a bit of an issue. But if you go to here, so this is a bit we've converted now, where we had the edge tarps to kill back a lot of stuff, and then we planted it really thick with borage and calendula and all kinds of bee food. And actually there's very little bees on it today because it's raining, but you can see there's hundreds of bees on this still, all the way down. So it's really nice to see all different kinds. We got a few rare bumblebees. We saw a black bumblebee with a red bum today, which is kind of one of the less common
I've never
ones.
seen one like that. Go down that way. Look, there's loads of bees that way.
Yeah.
I'll go down this way for a minute. I
see honeybees coming from someone else. There's a honeybee here. That's from someone else's garden. I don't have bees at the moment this year. I lost mine to the wasps. Anyone wants to donate some bees, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, we have beekeepers watching this, so definitely if there's anyone out there that has a swarm or two.
I'm a big supporter of black bees.
Please
the
contact
black bee
us.
is very important in Ireland, you know. You can hear them buzzing.
Look at this garden here. So you got rhubarb here. You have a couple of different varieties, is it?
Yeah, this first bed, we actually forced this. This was forced rhubarb in the spring, and you can see it on Instagram, Facebook. I did basically like a double mypex. I put mypex over the plants with holes so they could grow through, and then I, with my hoop covers, made another mypex cover. And I had to do double thickness to get enough darkness, and then we got the beautiful pink shoots coming up and all that. So we sold it as forced, and then of course you leave it alone then for the rest of the season, and we harvest the second one and sell it as normal rhubarb.
But you got some Glaskins probably, Glaskins Perpetual.
Yeah, we got a lot of Glaskins Perpetual.
But you can still harvest that until the end of October.
Yeah, and to be honest, most rhubarbs, they kind of give bad press, but if you're harvesting the fresh new leaves and there's fresh growth and the plant is strong, you can still harvest them quite late in the season. So it's more to do with the age of the leaf and the stem, I think, more than anything, you know.
All right.
So, like you see, I actually harvested.
That's actually a really good
you
tip.
can see on this one. So yeah, see that's an older leaf. That's going to have lots of oxalic acid. Well, this is very young. This is still very tender and rubbery when you feel it. So that's good, you know.
No, that's a little a nice tip there for the winemakers out there.
Yeah. Here's some interesting. So this is our second succession of beets in this bed. So we've already harvested the spring beets out of here. We got a lot of beets, and then we're putting in a second succession. And it's red cylinders, we've got golden, we've got Kyoja, and I've started doing white beets, which are kind of relative to the sugar beet.
How do you say it? Kyoji.
Oh, I can't say. I'm probably saying it wrong.
I say Shiogyo. It's my favorite variety.
Kyoja.
I actually put it into soups, like in cubes, and you can't tell the difference between like a potato and a literally the actual beetroot.
It's kind of, because amazing, even within beetroot, there's so many different flavors and contrasts, you know, it's surprising, you know.
Yeah, I like cylindra too because it's easy to cut.
Yeah, and you don't really need to peel them as well if you get them.
We don't peel beetroots, no. We don't.
Yeah,
wow, look at that for a courgette patch.
So there's two varieties in here that I highly recommend. I would avoid the normal green courgettes like you can see in the shop. They aren't the best of eating courgettes, they get quite bitter. This is two varieties I got from Italy. So this one is a yellow that gives you beautiful yellow courgettes, but also gives you really good courgette flowers. So you can look at my hand there. This is the length of my hand. And that's at peak harvest, like if you're doing courgette flowers. So and then
what do the chefs do with the flowers? They batter them, is it?
Oh, it's a delicacy. It's really amazing. So one of my favorite things is actually just to put them in an oven dish with a little bit of salt on top and olive oil, and bake them until they get a little bit caramelized. You know,
I'm going to totally do that because I've got 15 courgette plants at home now, and looking forward to making use of the flowers too.
And you can, like all varieties, you can eat the flowers. Just some are better at it than others. You know, and the green one here is quite interesting. This is a striata.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So this, even a large courgette like that, will still have the quality of a young, like typical green courgette.
Oh, nice.
It's meant to get big. It's meant to be a big courgette that you can do like a lot of tomato sauces, this kind of thing. This is Striata d'Italia, so in other words, Italian stripes, you know?
Yeah.
Very good variety.
I saw a video recently, just there yesterday actually, of Epic Gardening. You probably know him in California, I think it is. And he said you can actually grow courgettes up the way, like if you stake them.
Yeah.
And then you can get better quality. The leaves don't get mildew, and the fruits, you can see the fruits better.
You can see it like this now. This would be the perfect. So if I started
that's kind of standing up there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you get.
And you get a little bit more space too.
Yeah.
And it's easier for harvesting.
And you would avoid this. So this is, I'll show you now. This is one.
Yeah, some of the leaves can get stuck to the ground too and kind of go rotten.
So when you get too much rain, the flower can develop a thing called blossom end rot. So that's the end result. You often see a courgette that has a cone shape. I'll see if I can find one for you.
That's okay. We have a lot more to see, and it's starting to drizzle. So I just recently made a courgette video actually. Of course it starts raining as soon as we go out here and make a video. You literally need to come back here for a full day just to talk to Charles about all kinds of different vegetables in detail.
This is 2 days difference. So this is today, that will be that big tomorrow. And this is, you can eat both of those,
amazing.
like, you know?
That's amazing.
Oh, I really.
So you would eat the small courgette with the flower? You'd leave it attached? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm
really
learning.
good.
I'm learning quite a bit every time I come here, Charles.
Thank you, Martin. You can see our calendulas are really nice. So I saved my own seed. I've started adapting a lot of seed to the native area and saving it by biodynamics, because I've started to realize if you don't have biodynamic seed, sometimes you're at a minus. It's much better seeking out really good biodynamic seed because it's done by the right day. Within the biodynamic calendar, we have a thing called rest days. They're days you're not supposed to work with your garden, you're not supposed to plant, harvest seed, etc. So sometimes that happens by accident if you're not a biodynamic farmer and you don't follow the calendar. So seek out good seed. It makes a huge difference, you know. Really, really big difference. And the real thing you'll see with these are planted by flower, and they'll just keep producing flowers and more flowers, and you know.
We use the calendula actually as a logo, and it's a picture that I took in the garden, in our garden actually.
I'm going to show you some of these. I've got some normal hackeri in here, Martin, but then I've got a really cool thing I'm working on. Ah, here we go. So they're still very small, but it's a really cool coloured hackeri turnip. That's a great shot because you got the two of them.
All right. Wow, you got a lot of Nero. I've been growing Black Magic because it's a variety of Nero, right?
Yeah.
And it has huge leaves.
Some of these are Black Magic.
I get leaves wider than my hand across.
Well, what I've started doing is I actually have 3 packets of seed. One is Black Magic, and then I have 2 different strains of Nero from different places. So I actually plant the 3 of them every year now, because sometimes one will do better than others. It's kind of strange.
Yeah.
But what's really different, again,
You got to do a variety of things in case one doesn't do too well.
Exactly.
For whatever reason.
Listen to the leaves.
Hang on.
It's just the most succulent kale ever.
Yeah. A lot of moisture in it.
And this is hot temperatures right now. It's 23 degrees today.
And we had quite a drought there too for about 4 or 6 weeks. Like we had very little rain. Oh, someone left their sunglasses here.
Yeah. So this is just the end of our Celtis crop. So if anybody doesn't know, Celtis is a stem lettuce. So this is really just a big lettuce, but I'm going to show you what the real crop is now. Is not the leaves, but this big stem. That's actually a skinny one. So let's do this one.
So you eat the stem and not the leaves?
Yeah. So this thing here, you peel it and you eat it just like a root vegetable, and it's really tasty. It's very much like all Asian vegetables mixed into one. It's hard to explain.
It's like for wok. It's a wok vegetable.
Yeah, it's a real umami kind of vegetable. It's you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's nice. It's a quick crop. Now this year's been
How
weird.
would I cook it if I was to bring one home?
Oh, eat like quick stir fry and don't overcook
cool,
it. You know.
Cool.
And it can be really nice if it's smoked and other things. We've got some nice French shallots on the way. They're not too far
Wow, they
off
look
harvest.
like onions. They're so thick.
Yeah.
I lost the shallots I got from you 3 years ago, unfortunately, because I let them go to seed. I did not know you're supposed to take
Save
the
the
scapes.
seed. You know?
I didn't know you're supposed to take the shallots. Not sorry. What do you call them?
Scapes.
I didn't know you're supposed to take the scapes off. Same as the garlic.
Unless you're saving for seed. So these are one, I'm actually not happy with the seed. It's become very hard to get, and I'm going to work on breeding this. So the biggest of the shallots this year I'll be keeping and using for seed next year and doing a biodynamic day. So this year, for example, we seeded the spring onions and the shallots the same day. And when you saw the seedlings beside each other, it was incredible, the difference. All the spring onions were really strong, upright, super vigorous, where the shallots were a bit weaker. You know? This is our spring onions that we famously grow
Shallots are
back.
nice. They're kind of milder than an onion. It's a different flavour. Mostly used in French cooking, I guess.
So
But they're really nice.
These are the Japanese spring onions that we've already sold and harvested. Come back. So this is one I haven't. I leave the ones at the end just for wind protection. And you can see these are all regrowth. So we already sold these. And this is all regrowth in the last 2 months.
And at what time of the year do these actually die back to the ground?
They don't. They keep
They
going
never
all
do.
the way
Oh,
through winter.
nice.
So the real key to these is to have strong growth that stays upright in winter. If they fall over, you start to lose a lot of quality and they get slimy from the rain.
On the edge here, look. The
Yeah.
size of the bulbs below.
Yeah, well,
Nice.
see, this isn't a bulbing onion. It's a fistulum. The alum fistulum is the one. You can see down there the crops we haven't harvested, and then there's a gap where
I
we
see,
have.
much bigger, yeah.
And then so we just keep harvesting down the way, and they come back. So really nice. We've started on the potatoes. We'll cut separately to the potatoes, Martin. I'll take you around the back so you can show them a bit.
The rain now.
Yeah.
Look at the Jerusalem artichokes. Why, my God. You must have like a native an acre of Jerusalem artichokes at this stage.
Yeah, it's many hundreds of kilos, you know. And they all came
But
from you.
You actually like You know, you actually harvest them for food, for soups and things.
Yeah.
We better go to the greenhouse, so.
Yeah, let's run.
Run! Friggin' rain. We're in County Galway here. Too much rain.
It rains every time
Too
you come,
close to the
Martin.
coast. Oh, look at this. Oyster leaf, is it?
Yeah, and oyster leaf
Oh,
flowers.
yeah, I'm going to eat one actually.
Yeah, you can even try, look, this is the caper. So this is like, you got coriander capers and things like that. You can get them from the
Oh, it's
oyster
the
leaf
most amazing smell ever.
too. Yeah, this is a no cool one I added as well, Martin, the monkey
I'm probably
flower.
eating like €1 worth of merch, just one leaf. Those are
Alright, we'll
nice.
send you the bill later. Yeah, so it's something similar to an nasturtium. It's one of the more unusual edible flowers out there, you know?
Nice. Oh, the rain has eased off again.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
might as well go back over.
Yeah.
Never mind. We'll go over again.
So 3 years ago, Martin, I
We've
came
got a lot of chives here.
Yeah. Yeah, and garlic chives, the other one, it's about to go into flower now.
It's been 3 years, yeah, I think.
Yeah, so 3 years ago, you handed
last
me
tour.
some jostaberry branches when I came to visit you. And I came back, I made cuttings from them, and 3 years
Oh,
later,
God.
this is the result.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this. I can't believe you got all these jostaberry bushes. It is a hybrid berry, in fairness. Like, it does produce a lot of wood. I always warn people about that. It does grow quick.
Yeah,
So you're going to get a ton of cuttings too.
yeah.
But, of course, less berries than a purebred berry bush.
So I
But
left
still-
them for 2 years to grow wild, basically, and then this winter I'm going to really shape and prune them to get more upright and in the shape that's more easy to work with, you know? But yeah, amazing
Yeah,
berry.
The trouble I've got with jostaberry is that the birds are hungry that time of year. You
Yeah.
know, when they ripen, as it happens. So, oh, look at this. Runner beans, is it?
Yeah. So I have 3 different varieties of runner beans in here. Mainly so I have edible flowers as well. Runner beans have edible flowers, but also, again, you know, you have more, some varieties are later than others. So, you know, the red ones will typically be my first ones to start, followed by the red and white. And you can see they're just starting to come on now.
Nice.
Now, last year I had one 43 centimeters long. I couldn't believe it. So it's
Oh,
really
yes, look at
impressive.
this. Nice.
And now check this out, Martin. This is something I got from Austria. So a hot pink celery, and it gets even more luminescent. There's a good example. Really, really purple. It's all that color all the way through. Now these are only babies yet, but this is more of a fall crop for me.
I ate a little bit of that earlier, and it was really nice. Very different flavour. I don't like the rain, but we're not made of sugar, but I don't like the rain. Don't like to be out here in the wet.
So this
So
year,
you're
Martin,
growing potatoes.
yeah. So I started growing them under plastic because, you know, realistically, it's hard to dig enough potatoes quick enough to make it economical by hand, right? So this year I grew them on plastic, really dense. So I'm just going to show you what it's like.
Every like 8 inches or 20 centimeters.
Yeah, wait till you see the size of the plants. So I'm 6'2". It's a 6'2"
That's
plant,
a huge
roughly.
plant, yeah.
Yeah,
If you could trellis those.
you could, but it's again canopy gardening. So what I found is that they go straight up, and it's only when they're kind of coming into harvest time. Now look, we got a spot already. Now watch this. They're just everywhere. So
Oh,
no
nice,
shovel.
nice potato.
Yeah, there's no shoveling anything.
What variety is that?
This is a violetta, so purple
Oh,
potato, and we
nice.
have some big ones there.
Uh-oh, we need to go.
Yeah. Oh, it's getting
Rain again.
so potato
Wow,
harvest is a
nice.
whole different thing, and they're really easy to wash.
All right.
And this whole bed will be like that. Look.
Yeah. Nice.
So I highly recommend doing this.
Anything you want to talk about while we run back to the greenhouse?
No dig is
Again.
great for not having to water, because when it's raining like this, it just absorbs all that moisture, keeps your plants from getting waterlogged because there's still good aeration, and you save it for later in the year. So
Yeah.
realistically, you see all this crazy growth. We don't water much. I only have one
Yeah.
little sprinkler head. It's right there, Martin.
Yeah. We don't need to do much irrigation in Ireland anyway. I never irrigate my gardens for sure. Oh my God. I should have brought a change of clothes. Woo. Oh my God.
Oh, the chef's here.
Oh,
See
soaking
what
wet.
happens, Martin? You get chefs sneaking into the garden.
All right, we made it to the greenhouse.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of a packing area here. And in this greenhouse, what do you keep here? This is your first greenhouse, actually.
Yeah, so we built this long before we ever knew we were going to be a market garden. At the time, I was doing more educational work with aquaponics and all that. So Yeah, it kind of evolved into its own beast now at this stage. We use it for all our seedlings. I use it for my experimental plants, and we have a lot of our big perennials in here. Of course, have our grapes and our figs and all that. So
And you have a couple of heated tables here, isn't that
yeah,
right?
although
And
they're
then
off right now because it's summertime. But
yeah, but in the winter time you can keep things alive, and you put an extra bit of felt on top.
yeah, well, you see the frame here. This actually, I have a light that goes on here, so I can start the tomatoes in January, basically under heat, and the whole thing gets covered with plastic, and you open it every day for ventilation, all that kind of stuff. And then you can see lots of cuttings. Like here's some lemon verbena cuttings I've done, and different bits. So this is our last chance, like this month, really. Get out there, do your cuttings before it's too late in the season.
Yeah, you
still
need to
have
make sure
time.
they root on time, well before the winter,
Yeah.
so they survive the winter.
The same, like if an important point is not to pot after September. September is your last window to repot stuff. After that, there's no point. You're only hurting the plant. So, you know.
Confirmed.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at this fig tree in a giant pot. Look
Yeah,
at
that's a brown turkey, which I just never found a place for. So,
that. Yeah, we got a lot of plants like that where we just, keep it in
here's something nice
pots
to
until
try.
you find a spot.
This is a sour apple begonia I'm working
Oh,
on.
nice.
I have another species too in pink, but I had to start this from seeds, so it takes a long time. It's like 7 months since they germinated now.
You've all these unusual plants with edible flowers.
Yeah,
Of course, you have a couple of chefs here on site at the moment, just browsing
yeah, yeah.
and
Foraging.
just taking a look, foraging for new dinner plate ideas,
You
or
don't
new
escape
recipe
eating
ideas.
the flower part.
Oh, I've already eaten so many different things on this tour.
Yeah. Of course, we got the
very
fish
nice.
as well. So, although I'm only partially running this system.
You
at
are
the
the
moment.
aquaponics guy too?
Yeah. So
Oh.
we got some koi and some goldfish and there's a couple mollies and a few bits. We got some baby koi over here, and this is all working off this watercress bed back here. So it's not something I really eat much of in summer, although the shoots are really nice. But in winter time, this gets really, really tasty, really, really sweet, and of course it's full of vitamin C. So it was a really important anti-scurvy plant back in the day. Here's an unusual one too. It's a little small. It's in the viola family, little like micro violas, and you often see these growing out of walls in restaurants and stuff. And then I started looking up, and it turns out it is edible. So lots of primroses for winter. Now,
Look at this fig tree.
3 years ago, you gave me a branch, Martin.
Look at the amount of figs here.
You got to get in there and show the scale of the size of them.
There are some that are actually ripening.
Yeah, pick it. We'll eat it.
I'm not sure if that one's quite ready. I should have probably not picked that.
No, it depends on what age. So once they
Yeah,
start to
it's a
color,
little- yeah, and when they burst, they're usually definitely ready. I don't think that's quite ready now. But you've already been picking from this tree.
yeah. So
And
what you're
look at
seeing,
the amount of figs here.
the end of the first succession. So it actually had more figs, and now the small ones you see is the second succession that'll ripen into late fall. So a lot of figs will do that. They call them two-timers. Here you go. You want to see this, Martin? We'll debate the ripeness. So it's what I call a young fig. So this
Yeah.
is really nice if you want it more firm. And then, of course, it just gets juicier and more tender. And these actually get very purple by the end. And again, I put a nice picture up on Instagram.
I like picking the figs when they're kind of just about bursting, but you got to get them at that stage anyway.
It's really good, though.
Yeah, fresh figs, nothing beats it.
So we have a whole lot of mix
That's
of
a
different plants
specimen.
just strewn around at this point of the year.
Specimen plants.
The Crimson Katsura, I remember I put those on the video a couple years ago. Katsura concinia is the name of the plant. It's a rare thing from northern China. Well, they did flower this year. I have 2 females here, and I have another 10 plants. So we'll see if I have a male, we might get successful fruit. Here's some cool different plants I'm working on, different oxalises. So you have a nice, this is again an edible leaf. So this is a variation of the plant, but also there's an interesting thing. So the purple one has normal chlorophyll. Well, this variated one is minus chlorophyll. That's why it's that hot pink. So it grows way slower, like way slower, like 1/4 of the speed. You know. So kind of interesting, and it tastes a bit like rhubarb. You know, lemon sorrel kind of flavor. Another interesting, just ornamental plant we have is the tree tobacco. So almost every plant family evolved a plant that became a tree. So this is literally a tobacco plant that is a tree. Like, and these can get like 6-7 meters tall, easy.
So plant families actually evolve in different directions, and the old carbonous way, growing tall to shade out the grasses, is always a good option.
And of course we have sweet corn. I'm working on breeding sweet corn for growing outside in Ireland. Now this year I'm growing it in the tunnel because I need a lot of seed. So this is a mix of four small varieties of sweet corn that are very quick. Nothing you'll find in a garden center or normal seed packets. These are from northern Canada. And basically at the end of this, next year I'll start planting them outside in large numbers. And we pick the genetics of the plants that are strong for outside, if that makes sense. So in time, like probably 3 or 4 years, I'll be able to have a sweet corn that'll stably grow outside.
Awesome.
You know?
I've had very little luck with sweet corn lately. I've tried Northern Extra Sweet a few times. A Scottish variety only grows about that tall, 5 feet. But this year I'm doing Golden Bantam. Not much success with that now. But hopefully your new variety will do better.
Yeah.
Look at the grapes here. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, you can have this one, Martin. It'll be a little bit sour, but they're just starting to ripen. And we made wine from these last year, and it was absolutely outstanding. And like last year, we weighed the harvest. It was 80 kilos. This year, I expect
80
a little bit
kilos
more.
off one vine.
Yeah.
Wow. I'd love to have a high tunnel. In my tunnel, the grapes are dangling off the ceiling, and I'm having to actually bend down to get into the tunnel.
Yeah. Pruning is important, Martin. Now, actually, there's a funny plant here too. Just something unusual is a canary nasturtium. So within nasturtiums, there's many, many species. So this is a little mini nasturtium. You know, the canary nasturtium. It makes a tuber as well. And they get huge. I have one next door. It's about 4 meters, but they can get up to 10.
You can use your grapevines to trellis things.
Yeah.
That's a good idea too here for the kids. Brilliant.
Here's one I'm going to send you with cuttings back. Is fruiting willows, oleasters.
Yeah,
So,
we'll grow some of those actually.
Yeah.
Try that.
I haven't tried the fruit myself. It's supposed to be excellent. So also with these corn, this is the second planting. We planted potatoes in here. You can see 1 or 2. So we pulled, I don't know, 40 kilos of potatoes out of these 2 beds before we ever planted the corn, you know. Some zebra mallow. You ever eat the...
In the same year?
In the same year, yeah.
Wow.
You ever eat the fruits of... this is garlic chives.
Oh, nice.
Really good. Really garlicky. And here, we'll give you an agretti finish.
Oh yeah, very nice.
So this is
Kind of like capers.
Japanese agretti.
All right.
And of course, like a true gardener, you can never get your hands clean in the summertime. You know?
Just for eating? Mm-hmm. All right. You're handing me all these unusual plants, and I have to double check just in case.
No, I won't give you any booby traps. We don't want to poison you, Martin.
Except for the 2-day plant. I like that.
Oh,
You
that's
did ask me, are you adventurous in like your palate? And 2-day plant was off actually.
Oh, here, we'll finish with something really nice for your nose. So this is, most people grow marigolds just for their gardens, but there's herbal marigolds that are like a pot herb, you know? So this is, I call it lemon citrus. It's very, very citrus tasting. And like I smell it now after just picking it. It's very aromatic. It makes a beautiful tea. So even without having your, without getting to your fancy restaurant, these things are still amazing to have at home.
Is this for eating or for tea?
You can do both. You can eat it.
All right.
You gotta eat everything, Martin.
Will this be the last of the flowers I'll be eating here now?
No.
No, I'll give it a try. Really nice, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of like a grapefruit flavor.
Yeah, I'll try and give you dessert since I inflected you with all this dinner.
Ah, yes, the
Have a dessert.
Iron Cross.
Yeah. Well, here, let's make this presentable. Here's a platter of oxalis flowers for you, Martin.
Oh, nice. That's nice. Oh.
You have to eat it now.
Geez, nothing like I've ever tasted before.
It's kind of like
really
having a
nice.
slice of lemon, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah, just like a slice of lemon.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know we're missing a few things.
So this is your specimen area, mainly. So you're growing plants in here that kind of like it warm, I guess.
Are you feeling adventurous, Martin?
I don't know if I'll be able to talk after eating a 2-day plant now.
We'll do it to ourselves. So this is a really interesting one for those of you that suffer from gum disease or different problems with your teeth. It's called the toothache herb or electric daisy. Let's just say it has an interesting sensation when you chew on these. Your mouth
It numbs
tingles.
your mouth for a few minutes.
Yeah, and if you have a problem with like a tooth abscess, it really lowers the inflammation. Really, really good. So I highly recommend growing them. So let's do it together, Martin.
Sláinte. Will we be able to talk after this?
And extra tingly.
How do you grow this? From seed, is it?
From seed, yeah. And
Annual, is it?
Annual, and it needs to be fresh seed.
All right.
So, a lot of the plants we sometimes struggle with is because the seed is too old. The Japanese perennial, the seashell is an example of that. It has to be very fresh seed, or no older than a year. Allium's another example.
That'll wake you up.
Yeah.
Wow. Intense. That was a big one too. I remember the one I ate like years ago. I still remember it. That's how intense it was. But wow, it's not really spicy, but it's kind of tingling at the same time. Will this calm the spiciness, is it?
It'll balance it.
Oh, that's really nice. What is that? Basil.
Purple basil, yeah. Bit different tasting.
That's really nice,
I'm
basil.
gonna send you home with some perennial.
Thank you.
You gotta have some of this next time you guys do a barbecue.
I
And,
think the video has gone very long now, so I might.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give you these anyway.
Walking by this here at the entrance, and I thought that looks like a dandelion, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a dandelion tree from the Mediterranean, I think, or one of the islands. We have a couple of gardeners here now, so this is from one of the other gardeners that work here at the moment. And yeah, quite an amazing plant. Like again, its same properties as dandelion, so you could blanch the leaves and eat it, and it's good for cleaning your kidneys.
And how do you grow it? From seed or?
He did this from cuttings, and I'm not. To be honest, I need to look up more myself. Yeah. I don't know much about it. I tell you what's amazing. Have you started eating daylilies yet? They're one of the best vegetables ever. You can either eat the flower like this or the pod, and the pods are really nice. Go on, Martin.
Do I eat this too now?
Yeah, I know. Though it's just a vegetable. So, cheers.
All right. Wow.
Really good, isn't it?
It's really nice.
And if you fry them, they're even better.
Of course, after the toothache plant, I can't really taste very much. But it's really nice.
So, yeah, I'll take it to our chard and our dahlias.
Wow, look at this.
Yeah, the chard
Our rainbow chard actually is huge too.
this year is just crazy for it,
You
isn't it?
inspired me 3 or 4 years ago to grow blinding lights, is it? Or no, what's it called?
Bright lights.
Bright lights.
Yeah, like to get scale.
Wow, look at that.
Like this isn't normal, you know? And it's not just like, there's several.
I might just take a little leaf just to calm down the old toothache plant.
Like, it's really amazing. And I love these colors. Like, I mean, of course, with chard, the real vegetable is in the stem. Of course, you get a little leaf like spinach, but the real use is this beautiful stem.
What if you've got chickens? You can throw the greens to them. And
Exactly.
You can eat the stem, so.
Well, for example, this one's going to flower now, so I would break that off and give it to my chickens, you know? So, chicken food.
Yeah, we're literally in the middle of an ocean of dahlias and rainbow chard. But you definitely inspired us to grow rainbow chard, and that was a few years ago. And someone went to seed, and they naturalized in our gardens.
Yeah, and you know, rainbow chard is kind of one of our native vegetables in a way, because sea beet is found all over Ireland, and it's the same Beta vulgaris that became chard, or your beets. So it's kind of one of our native vegetables in a lot of ways, even though we don't think of it as Irish.
A little thing about dahlias, a lot of people would dig up the dahlias for the winter so the tubers don't freeze and go mushy just like the yacons would. But I found that in my own gardens anyway, I haven't dug them up at all, and they've been fine for 2 or 3 winters now, and they were grown from seed, all of the kind of standard mixes, not any particular variety. Did you grow these from seed too?
Yeah, so 3 years ago we put in 3 rows of dahlias here. I grow them with wood chip, and then one of the big things, of course, on this farm is I'm always trying to increase the mycology. So when you increase the mycelium inside of your soil, it brings up the soil temperature as well. So
That's right.
of course, that wood chip feeds the mycelium. So we then take this mypex and we'll put it over the whole bed as a cover during the winter, and then in the spring pull it back, give them a little bit of wood chip, and just let them grow back. And you can see some really amazing ones in here. There's even a purple leaf come up. But I love the surprise.
Dahlias are edible. Most people wouldn't know that, but the tubers are edible, just like yacon as well.
There's the leaves. You can eat the leaves too.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, as a salad leaf. The whole flower is
I
edible.
like dahlias because I actually grew up with dahlias in my garden in Germany back in the day in the 90s, because my mother worked for a fella that was breeding dahlias. Actually, he had an acre of dahlias in the middle of the village.
Wow, that must have been some sight.
Yeah, I remember it. I don't have any pictures of it. Sorry, folks.
Like the surprise of growing them by seed, because you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
you get
yeah.
These amazing ones. It really
But
stands out.
I think when you grow the dahlias from seed, you get a hardier varieties. Like you get hardier varieties, I think, and you don't have to dig them up in the winter. Less maintenance.
And they even vary a little bit. Like this one, for example, that wouldn't have had that much red and orange in it last year. So they do vary a little bit in tone year to year. For various, I don't understand why myself. But.
All right, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed that little tour with Charles from the Bullaun Ark, and you're based here in Loughrea,
Yeah.
in County Galway, in Ireland.
Here in Bullaun.
I do have to say in Ireland, because sometimes place names also are duplicate in the US. So do you want to say anything at the end here, or do you want to like promote anything or whatever?
Yeah, thanks so much for coming to visit the garden and all the support for the garden tours. And thanks for coming to visit us, Martin.
Oh, my pleasure.
All the plants you've given me over the years, I mean, it's just amazing. And yeah, we're also involved with Belvedere College in Dublin. So I'm not going to say a lot about it now, but we're working with the school on a big aquaponic system, indoor farm, urban farm, and a roof garden up there. And there's going to be a bit of an announcement on that coming in the fall. So we'll link that in later on and all that too.
Oh, that's an amazing project too.
Yeah.
So looking forward to hearing more about that. Maybe someday you'll make a video up there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. I'll see you the next time. And by the way, before you go, you can watch the year 1 and 2 tours of this garden actually also. I'll put the link below, and you can take a look at them as well. And we'll make a quick video on biodynamics now too. So hopefully see you there in a minute.